Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Hunty's World of Pain on tour. This is just a 10-minute I played earlier on today. It doesn't go on for all that long, but let me take you through it, see what you would play in each situation, and we'll see if we can learn anything from our opponent's inevitable mistakes as he gets his trousers pulled down and unspeakable mischief performed upon his person. So, okay, so we have an Italian. And of course I play the Rousseau Gambit. Jonathan Schrantz has a video out saying the Rousseau Gambit's the most aggressive gambit ever. He doesn't believe that, it's just clickbait, forget about it. Okay, now here, if white plays this, interestingly, somebody in the Chess Boot Camp Club also found one of Jon Bartholomew's speedruns where he faced the Russo. This is an international master. He's an IM, he faces the Russo in a speedrun. And he says, I've never seen this before. This is a guy been playing chess for 20 years. He's never seen the Russo before. What does that tell you? Needless to say, he figured it out from first principles and demolished it. And he played d4, right? He did actually consider taking here, which is inaccurate already from white and equalizes. Anyway, so the point is that there are a lot of ways that your opponent can go wrong from here. And let me show you one of them. Knight c3. Now, knight c3 just looks completely innocuous, okay? But there's a problem, and you get this. You can get this in a four knights position as well. Say if the knight is here and the pawn isn't here, then you've got something where you can actually take the pawn and win a pawn. Because if knight takes, guess what happens? d5 hits bishop, hits knight, right? Supported by the queen. Okay, so you win the pawn with knight takes here. Now, we don't even have to do that, because we can do this now with the pawn. So we take the pawn. And now white has to stop. He only took 2.5 seconds or something over this move to develop the knight. Right, so he should never just automatically develop. Okay, and he figured out, oh no, I can't take the pawn because I get forked and I lose a whole piece. So what does he have to do? The knight goes all the way back home, like in the Vienna Gambit, right? When they take and you push the pawn, right? Or in many of these Gambit lines, if you can capture here with tempo, generally a good idea. Knight can't go here or here because of the bishop. Sorry, because of our queen. Knight can't go here or here because of our knight. Okay, so already -3 after 5 moves. This is white's 5th move, as long as we play knight to f6, which of course we do because we're very, very good students of the Freddy Krueger repertoire, and we are always watching over our shoulder for queen h5 check, aren't we? Yes. Okay, opponent now plays pawn to f3. This is not good either. This is also inaccurate. Why? So what would you play here? And you know, guys, for all these buggers who say, yeah, you completely demolished this 800 or this 1100 or whatever. My opponents, I'm around that level. My opponents never play that. Yes, they do. Stop it. Yes, they do. You just have to be awake enough to spot the mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, my God, I could show you the most hideous blunders at 1400 and 1500. Hideous, you know? So this is bad. This is bad here. So here it's 2.2, 2-ish, right? And here we jump to 3.5, 4 already. Why? Find it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can find it. Okay, what do we want to do? We're in the opening phase of the game. We want to develop our pieces. We want to occupy the center. Okay, you've got a queen. You've got a knight. Right, you should always be looking. At least figure this out, okay? If pawn to d5, they take, we take back, they take, we win a piece. Happy days, all right? Easiest, pawn to d5, right? So the bishop now has to retreat there, or there, or there. So what's he going to do? Bishop to b5, kind of pinning the knight on the king. Okay, and now what? Now what? We actually have a few ideas. Bishop b4, computer likes. I just played the aggressive d4. I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's just blow a hole through white's chest with this, right? You know, this is the Iron Man attack. They now win this pawn here. We trade off knights. There's a completely open f-file now, but this, again, is not good. Again, why is it not good? Anyone who's ever faced the King's Gambit, right? Any King's Gambit players will know what is wrong with this situation right now and exactly what black should do to capitalise on it. There is one good move and only one good move for black here, and it is, you guessed it, Queen h4 check. All right, we are forking the king and the e4 pawn. But what's worse is there's only one thing that can block. Okay, this knight cannot block. The queen cannot block. This bishop hasn't been developed yet, and this bishop's on the wrong colour, right? What can possibly block there? There's only one thing that can block, which is the g6 pawn. But if they push this, we take with a fork and check on king, and we win the rook. So they're not going to do that. So what does white do? Moves the king over. And now it's 6.8 in our favour. So, computer says now bishop e7. I play the less accurate bishop g4 hitting the queen. He now plays the best move and trades off, so slightly messes up my pawns. But again, where's his? He only had one piece out on the board. Now he's just swapped it off, right? Now he should play knight f3, which he does. I retreat. Is that the best move? Yes. Okay. I retreat. So we've still got pressure on this knight. Okay, this knight is still pinned. If the knight moves, and remember, in this configuration, two diagonals away, it's 1, 2, 3, 3 moves just to hit the queen. Okay, it takes a knight 2 moves to move 1 square diagonally, and this is 2 squares diagonally. Okay, so you're very safe from a knight if you're 2 diagonals away from it. Okay, and the knight's still pinned. Right, so it's still pretty vile. King now moves up there. What's that about? Okay, now it says I should play bishop e7. I play bishop d6, and that's a bit kind of timid. I'm just tall pawning my bishop there. Bishop e7's much better because I can come here with check, I guess. But then what about g3 now? Did I say g6 earlier? If I did, I meant g3. Not slept much tonight. I had to drop my wife and stepdaughter at the bus station this morning. But anyway, he should now bring his rook over. He doesn't do that. He pushes his pawn. I castle. Oh dear, it's looking very bad for this knight now, right? It's not just pinned on the queen now, it's pinned on the king as well. Okay, and this is not going to end well for white, who decides to push c3. Not much point in that. Again, computer's telling me I should bring this round, but also actually I can just take that knight as well. I decide to push c5, which is a bit, again, slow. I mean, it's not going to make much difference to the outcome, to be honest. Now he brings his queen out with check. I just slide out of the way. Queen retreats. Okay. And now I capture. Interestingly, it's saying I should capture the knight with my rook. I guess, let's just figure this out. I take pawn takes. I can play my other rook to f8, pinning the pawn. And then I've got 3 attackers and 2 defenders. I'm just going to win it outright. Okay. I think I play bishop takes anyway. Bishop takes is still completely crushing, right? He has to take with the g-pawn. So I think the difference is if I take him with a rook, I can then replace the rook. Whereas after taking with the bishop, my rook is still stuck on f8, so I can't put my other rook on f8 to introduce a brand new attacker onto the pin piece. You see the difference? That's fascinating, actually. I think that deserves a bit of a problem on the Woody series in itself. So yeah, rook takes his strongest there, and kittens are fighting all over the place. Okay, now I decide to bring my bishop back. Tell me it's the best move. No, it's not. It's saying now I should push c4 for some reason. Or d takes c3, or queen h3. Okay, but now I decide to bring my bishop round. Okay, he should push f4. He doesn't do that. I come back with my queen with check. He moves back there, and now I hit him. Okay, and there is actually a forced mate from this position. If he plays king f1, it's mate in 5 or 4. If he plays king e2, what would you play here? Queen g2 is a lovely checkmate. But I think that's really, really fascinating. I think it's a really good example of what not to do, right? Let's say you're an Italian player, and I know that a lot of you are Italian players, okay? And you face something weird that you don't know like this. Do not just automatically think, hey, I'll just develop, okay? In general, right, the best thing to do, and if you watch, I do recommend that you watch Jon Bartholomew's video, because you can see a very strong player figuring out what he should be doing from this position as white. Okay, so if you're an Italian player, watch that, because it's really, really good. Because what he's saying is, okay, I know that black's position is now compromised. So what do I want to do now that I know my opponent's king is somewhat vulnerable? I want to open up lines. Okay, so that's how he figures out that he should play d4. Okay, now this automatic move here, there's a magic trick in chess. Okay, the secret to increasing your elo is, if I do this, what can my opponent do? Well, takes. Okay, I take back. Oh, you're only having to think about 2 things. Okay, so this is the point. Don't automatically do anything, particularly in an unusual opening. And quite often the automatic development move is not a great idea. Okay, so let me, for example, let's say, we have a Vienna Gambit declined, right? Very, very similar situation, okay? And it's not uncommon for people just to think, well, let's develop. Okay, and now they take the pawn and they go, all right then. But now d4. This is I call it the Halloween variation in the Vienna Gambit. In the Halloween Gambit, you actually sacrifice a whole knight. Okay, here you don't even have to. And then wherever the knight goes, let's say the knight goes back here, you push. And again, can't go there or there because the queen can't go there or there. The knight has to go all the way back, and it's just completely. Let's look at the eval. Yeah, getting on for +2 already, +1.5 already for white here, So don't automatically develop. Opening principles are great, but there's no excuse for not giving yourself time to say, if I do this, what could happen, right? And honestly, you don't really need to do much more than that to get past like 1200 and beyond. So hope that's useful for all of you guys out there. Thanks for watching. See you later.